Hello everyone, today we're going to talk about the tenses that we use to express the past. So in your book you can tell there is a grid on the right side and it's all about talking about the past, so the different tenses used with it. First of all, let's start with what tenses do we have. We have simple past, we have simple present, simple future, past continuous, present continuous, future continuous, past perfect, present perfect, and future perfect. There are three more, but these are the ones that you will use most. The tenses that we generally use for expressing the past are the ones that you have studied before. First of all is the past simple or simple past. The second one is past continuous, and the third is present perfect. So these tenses are used to express something that happened in the past. That's the most important thing. This is the big scheme of the tenses that you already know. These are the ones that we're going to cover to express something that happened in the past. That's the main idea. So, expressing the past, we're going to revise the tenses that talk about the past. We're going to cover three tenses, but they are always used in different situations. You use one tense and not the other because you're in a different situation. So they mean different things. Sometimes I use present perfect and not the simple past, depending on when I use it. And when we're using it, I'm going to explain further on. We have covered this, but I'm going to revise it quickly now in this video. First of all, present perfect. We have been on the road for more than a month. We still have not left the States. You can tell that the form is different. Have plus past participle. Have been, have not left. So have plus a past participle. Then the second tense that we're going to talk about is the simple past. We fed him supper, or Mr. Bridger invited Simon to join his wagon. So that's a different tense. And then past continuous. We were pretending, we were exploring sunken pirate ships. So all of these tenses, these three tenses, talk about something that happened in the past. That is the main idea. So we're expressing something that has already been done. It's the past. The first tense that we're going to talk about is the present perfect. Let me show you because I am definitely in the way. So present perfect. And as said before, this is all about have plus the past participle. I have worked, you have worked. I haven't worked, you haven't worked. One important thing with the present perfect is the have does change. If you have a subject, he or she, it, Mila, Lanoy, Kenny, has worked. So in this scenario, the has does change when the subject is different. Keep that in mind. So has worked, hasn't worked. When you have questions, have I worked, have you worked, or has he worked? So it changes. So the form, general ID is have plus past participle. There are some exceptions, but we'll see the exceptions in simple past. The most important exception is there are irregular verbs. So I have worked. The normal structure of the past participle is worked. So you have the base form to work. Work, I work. But the past participle does add ed. Of course, that's only for the regular verbs. Irregular verbs are not formed this way. So it should be, for instance, I have found, you have written, or he has seen. So remember that third column, some past participle verbs are irregular. Keep that in mind. So that's the form. Then the use. The use for this tense is when we talk about an action that has been completed recently. He has scored a goal, and it's done. I mean, it happened. He scored a goal, and it happened recently. She has asked my hand in marriage, as in 5 seconds ago, she asked me to marry him. It is something that has been completed. It is an action that is over, and it's over recently. Then a completed action that influences things in the present. So something happened in the past, but there is an effect right now.
So, sorry for repeating myself, but again, so an action that is completed but has an influence on what is happening now. So I have bought new shoes and now my feet are hurting. So something in the past happened, but there is an effect now. Now my feet are hurting. We have saved more money to buy a house soon. So we've been saving money for years and it's happened in the past, but we're buying it soon. It's happening now. An action that has not once happened up to the time of speaking. Our team has only made one goal up until now. He has never lost a match in his life. So it has not happened or only once. That is it for present perfect. The next tense is simple past. This tense is one that you should know by heart by now because we use it very often. I worked, you worked, he worked, we worked, you worked, they worked. So the general idea is you have your verb, your base form, work, and you add ed. So the exceptions, I think you can tell that this is all the same. So negative, you use didn't work, and questions is did I work, but also work doesn't really change. The exceptions is if your verb ends in an e, investigate, arrive, then you just add a d and not the ed. Verbs ending in a consonant, a vowel, consonant, so consonant, vowel, consonant, then you double the consonant. So stopped, skipped, or dropped. Ending in a y, you change it into ied. To carry, to die, change into died, carried, or dried. And also the irregular verbs that I talked about in the last slide. So we use it, so the simple past, wait, maybe let's do this again. So the simple past, we use it when we have a completed action in the past that is now finished. They traveled to the USA last October. Something happened, it's over now. She worked in a hospital between 2001 and 2004. So something in the past, and it's over. So it's a completed action. The difference with the other one, so with the past, with the present perfect, is that it's not recently. Then the second use, a sequence of actions happening in the past. She came in, she introduced herself, and she immediately started talking. So there's one thing, another thing, and then another thing. So when you talk about other things happening in the past, that all followed up. Then an action interrupting a previous action in the past. I'm not sure if it's showing on camera. She was talking to her friend when suddenly the teacher yelled at her. So something was happening when suddenly the teacher yelled at her. So the action that interrupts the other one, that is the simple past. The teacher yelled at her. That leaves us with the last tense that we're still going to talk about, which is the past continuous. And it is formed as to be in the past and then the ing form of the verb. I was working, you were working, he was working. So to be in the past, depending on what subject you have, and then the ing form of the verb. I wasn't working, you weren't working in negative, and the question, was I working, were you working? Then the exceptions, again, when the verb ends in an e, you take away the e and you add ing. Coming, leaving, hating. So you take away I hate, you take away the e and you add ing. Verbs ending in consonant, vowel, consonant, then you double the consonant, so it's the same as before. Sit, so consonant, vowel, consonant, double the consonant, add ing. Then the verbs ending in ie, you take away the ie and you make it into ing. So lying, dying, and trying, not tying, or tying to. Then the use of this tense is when two actions in the past happening at the same time. She was sunning at the beach while she was sailing. So two things at the past. John is playing outside and Olivia is sleeping in the couch. So two things happening at the same time. An action in progress at a specific time in the past. So this morning, during breakfast, I was frying an egg. So there is an action that is happening at a specific time that I'm talking about. They weren't working that evening. You're talking about a specific time frame that evening, They were not working, so ing form again. And then an action in the past that was interrupted. While I was looking for my shoes, I suddenly found money. So here you can see I was looking, was past of to be looking, ing form, for my shoes. So that was happening in the past. And it got interrupted. I suddenly found money. So, as said before, this is simple past, but I was looking is past continuous. So you were doing a longer thing before and it was interrupted. So that is the basic thing you need to know about the tenses that express something about the past. And with that, I'm going to leave you and you can start working on your exercises. I hope this was clear. Otherwise, don't hesitate to ask questions. That's what I'm here for. Good luck.